Let's talk drop leg holsters real quick, like this one you see right here. Um, a lot of people think of drop leg holsters as the end all be all of the tactical type handgun holster. It looks cool. You see it in a lot of video games. A lot of specialized units employ these, like SWAT teams. You got special forces, all kinds of different stuff. It's really popular in the military. So they think this is the end all be all holster. And it is a very nice holster design, don't get me wrong. This one, Safariland, it has my Glock 17 Gen 4 in it with my Insight Technologies lights. And what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to clear the Glock. And the reason I'm doing this is because I learned that some YouTubers out there like James Yeager absolutely hate it when other YouTubers clear their guns on video for some reason. So, good times. Anyway, the drop leg. People think it's the end-all be-all in the tactical world for handguns, and that it's, you know, very versatile. And it is a good design, and it's there for a reason, but it's not an all-encompassing holster. You really have to look at what you're wanting to do. Now, before I get into this anymore, I want to have a little side point that I want to say here. If you want to buy something because you think it looks cool, that's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with it. A lot of people don't realize that for 95% of the folks on YouTube, 95% of the folks out there, buying firearms and buying tactical gear and stuff, it's a hobby. It's because you like doing it. It's because, you know, you want to buy some of the stuff you see on video games or you see on shows like Cops or you see, you know, what have you on movies or on the news. You want to see some of that gear. Or you see some of that gear and you want to buy it. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with owning and purchasing tactical equipment or firearms for recreational use, just as a hobby. So don't let anybody get on you for saying, oh, this guy's buying all this gear, but he's got no use for it or it's impractical. Who cares, man? Some people like to spend all their money on high points. Some people like to spend all their money on fancy $1,000 guns like Kimbers and such. Some people like to buy tactical gear. There's nothing wrong with it. That's why America is what it is. It's beautiful. You can do whatever you want. So if you want to buy it just because it looks cool, you kind of like it, do it. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But anyway, the drop leg. It is designed for a purpose. But if you're going to buy it, really research that purpose and see if it's going to fit what you're going to do. Now, I'm not talking about just for fun. I'm talking more for the military types out there, my brothers in law enforcement, brothers and sisters in law enforcement. There are some departments out there that allow the use of drop legs. There may be some that mandate the use. I don't know. Every department's different. But I know that there are some departments out there that allow the use of a drop leg. They give their officers a little bit of leeway as far as their duty gear setup. If you're going to buy a drop leg for that application, especially the law enforcement world, really think about what you're doing and really see what you're hoping to get out of it. Now, a drop leg, as a lot of you people know, a drop leg is a means of lowering the handgun. This right here is your loop. It goes through your duty belt or utility belt, what have you, right here. So it's a means of lowering the gun out of the way to clear tactical vest, to clear your armor, any other accessories you might have up here, and it's popular for people that have two guns. For whatever reason, a long gun, a sidearm, crew served gun, sidearm, whatever they have. They've got all their gear and all their mess up here. This pistol, this holster takes this pistol down out of the way while still keeping it in a very easy and intuitive place to draw if needed when they're doing transfers or if they're drawing their pistol to use as a primary, whatever. That's the whole point of the drop leg, to get the gun out of the way. Now, there are some disadvantages to that as well. And a lot of those disadvantages come to bear like from a sitting position in a confined space. And some of my fellow law enforcement officers out there can speak to that a little bit. With your training, trying to employ a handgun in a confined space can be tricky. It definitely can be tricky, and you want to pay attention to what type of holster you have. This setup right here is not exactly from a sitting position inside of a vehicle or inside of some other confined space. Not exactly the best setup. Honestly, the setup that I have, just a standard retention holster on my duty belt, waist level is a lot better for that role. And I prefer that. I would not want a drop leg to carry day to day on duty. I really wouldn't. I think it would be a detriment to me. But that's just me. You have to look at it yourself. Just realize that the drop leg is not the end all be all. There's advantages and disadvantages to every holster system you're going to get. For example, my off-duty carry, is an inside the waistband, a Kydex inside the waistband holster. It definitely has a lot of advantages, does have some disadvantages versus an outside the waistband holster, and vice versa. So the drop leg is no different than anything else. It's very nice, it's very tactical looking, it's cool looking, let's face it, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with buying crap because it looks cool. It does have its uses, but just think about it. If you're going to buy it for any type of duty use, military, any type of positions in law enforcement, try it out first. Get a buddy that has one, try it out. Especially my brothers and sisters in law enforcement. Anytime you're going to make a gear change, if your department allows you to make a gear change, try to figure out a way to test it somehow without using the field as your test bed, because you don't want to be out in the field and have something fail when you're trying to wrestle some knucklehead or you're in a deadly encounter. So make sure you try it out, see if it fits you. For some people it may, for some people it might not. So I just wanted, it's kind of a loose subject it's about drop leg holsters, but it's a little bit about, this video is a little bit about, just making sure stuff works for you. But the drop leg is nice, it's just not the end all be all. There are some disadvantages to the drop leg. Also, along with that, if you do get a drop leg, please read up. I made a video on this a while ago, I believe, and I might make another video in the future, but make sure you use it correctly. Some people, they don't put it on tight enough. Some people, they have it too low for their for how their body is set up, and that makes things even worse rather than better when you're trying to use these things. So really research and look into how to correctly set the gun up. Even as far as your retention and everything, this just has a simple retention on it, and it has some screws to tighten up the fit. You can really tune this holster to the specific type of handgun and light setup. Make sure you know what you're doing and you have it tuned. Make sure it fits you and your needs and your equipment. So with that said, I'm going to stop talking. Thanks a lot for watching. I really like this Safariland drop holster. As far as drop holsters are concerned, Safariland makes some good stuff. My duty holster is also Safariland, and it's just excellent. I've got no issues at all with those holsters at all. They really do good stuff. I haven't experienced any failures at all with any Safariland products that I've handled. Some of you might have some different viewpoints on that. If you do, please put it in the comment section below, good, bad, or indifferent. With that said, I'll stop rambling on. I'm almost at 8 minutes here. You guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't too boring. If it was boring, my apologies. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a good holidays.